What's up, everyone? It's Muse. Back with another off meta, and this time it's going to be the Cheshire Cat. Cheshire is a ship that does not get a lot of love. People laugh at it, they meme it. We're going to get into why. It's a fun ship to play, no matter what anybody says about it. I actually really enjoy it. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So we've got Big Guns, Pyromania, and Superior HE Pen. HE on this ship is phenomenal. Really good HE. For the survivability, we have a nice hit point pool, we have good armor, and a 20% torpedo reduction, which is pretty good for a cruiser. Artillery, we're looking at 3x2 234s. Biggest issue with the artillery is the reload. I'm running a gun build with reload 14.5. And then torpedoes, you're going to have good range, you're going to have good damage. The speed is meh, kind of on the American side. AA defense, phenomenal AA. This thing is great in carrier matches. A lot of carrier players don't realize how much AA this ship has. Maneuverability, look at the max speed, that is natural. I'm running a gun build, so 35.9, almost 36 knots natural. Concealment, 10 kilometers for a heavy cruiser, that's actually really, really good. So, it's got things that work in its favor and it's got things that work against it. For the consumables, we're looking at sonar here at 4.2 kilometers. And that's going to come into play later. Armor, belt. Belt all the way. Belt is how you want to tank. If you don't know how to belt tank, go look it up. I might need to do a video on that. My commander is Brady McMurdoff. It's a gun build. It's not for the Cheshire. There's better commanders, there's better builds. This is for my other British cruisers. So without further ado, let's get into the gameplay. Okay, so in this first clip, this is not something you want to be doing in Cheshire a lot. This situation just kind of develops this way. So I'm actually going to be tip of the spear and lead a push that is going to end up winning this side of the map and eventually the match. Early in the game, cap is contested, but there's no spots, there's no shots. I know there's a DD up here at about my 3 o'clock. So you can see the Olin moving out of my way. He knows what I'm going to do. He's like, yeah, go get him. He's gonna end up following me up here, and you'll see that the team kind of push through behind me. So there's the smoke. We're just gonna go ahead and drop torps up into his smoke. We know he's back up there somewhere. There's a North Carolina back behind him. Gonna check out my left side, make sure there's nothing hanging out over here I need to know about. And now we're gonna go up here and engage whatever's up in the smoke. I do have a little bit of sonar left. I'm hoping to catch a spot on him before the sonar runs out. Which we're gonna get a very brief, there he is, now we know where he is. There's his torps, he sent all his racks out, he's got no more torps. My DD, the Oland, is sending torps behind me. They're about to come passing on my right side here. So we know this gap is sufficiently torped. So we have a good idea that the DD is going to be back behind this island. And what we're going to try to do is go force him out or take him out ourselves. Either way, if he... Again, there's a lot of ships coming behind me, so if he pulls back out into that gap, he is going to be bait for them. And if he doesn't, I'm going to farm him. So we also know there's that BB back there in North Carolina. We can see it right there. So these torps aren't really for the DD. They're to pressure the DD and try to force him out into that gap. But they're mostly for this North Carolina. And again, if you look on the mini-map, you can see everything coming into... There was nobody in the middle. Now everyone's getting brave and coming in the middle. And this whole side of the map is going to collapse on the red team. Starting with this. Goodbye. And yeah, that's Cheshire leading the charge. Ship with no DPM. For this next clip, this clip is going to go really bad for me. we're gonna end up fighting 7 ships over here on this cap. And unfortunately, they're gonna get a flank on me, and once they get the flank, it's a wrap for me. But what I featured this clip for is to show off some of the tankiness of this ship. You're gonna see me kind of get focused here. You're gonna see a lot of shots being put my way. And so that's why I include this clip, is show off that this ship is extremely good at tanking. For a cruiser. And that's one of its redeeming qualities. Again, it really lacks DPM, especially AP DPM. AP has some of the worst DPM in the game. HE, the only thing that holds it back on HE is that reload time, and outside of that, the HE is really, really good. It does set a lot of fires. It does do pretty good damage. It definitely, on cruisers and DDs, can penetrate and get in there and really hurt them. The problem is the reload, and the reload is just too long to be a fire starter. The AP doesn't do enough damage per salvo to be, you know, a high alpha strike, so you don't have the reload to make the AP effective, so you're just gonna kind of focus on the HE with this ship. So, smoke's gone, and we're gonna move into a tanking position now. So here we are tanking a battleship. You can see I'm angling. I'm trying to bait him to shoot at my bow, because I want to be able to turn and basically get those shells to land on my belt. Now we've got shots coming from our left side, so we're going to be cognizant of both this battleship and the cruisers back over there. And we don't want to give anybody anything super good. Now, you can see battleship just fired at me, did not do a whole lot. Cruisers not doing a whole lot. And that, again, is one of the really good qualities about this ship, is it is very tanky when you understand the armor layout and how to use that armor. The other redeeming qualities, which we're going to probably get into in the next clip, is going to be the speed. Because of the speed and the sonar, you are a DD hunter. Like, you can push DDs really hard, and you're going as fast as some of the faster DDs at 36 knots. So you can really push in on DDs, and there's not a whole lot they can do about it. As you can see, this whole time we've been tanking, we're not taking a whole lot of damage. Now, unfortunately, right here is where things are going to start to go bad. I'm coming up. I'm starting to look for shots now. You know, the BB's down. And I've got these guys right here on this corner. Now, the problem is, if you're watching the map, there's ships coming on my left side, and they're about to have my flank. So now I've got ships on one side, ships on the other. You can see I'm trying to tuck in here, because I know now I have to engage what's behind me and still protect myself in the front. So we're going to tuck in. Now, we're also going to angle, so if anything comes off this corner, we're angled to it properly. You can see we've got an angle on the Helena coming off the back corner, so no matter which corner they come off now, I have protection. The problem is going to not be this Helena. We actually handled this Helena really well, while still protecting ourselves from the Dallas. It's going to be the second ship that comes off this corner at very close range and is able to put torps on us, and there's nothing we can do about it. There's 7 ships over here. There was 3 of us. It's only me and the DD at this point. Rest of our team is down at Charlie. So basically, this is what's called a delay action. We're trying to tie up as much of their resources, keep them busy on this cap as long as possible. We have all 3 caps. We're up on ships. And so yeah, they get me here. But I did my work. I drew 7 out of 9 ships to this cap. while my team was able to go and on top of that was able to capture that cap. So yeah, we did what we were supposed to do. But that's what that clip was for, was to show the tanking ability of the Cheshire. And then, for our very last clip, we're going to get into the actual gameplay and the way you should play a Cheshire. Again, the first clip was a push, which you're not supposed to be doing. Second clip was how to tank, and now we're just going to get into gameplay. This right here is pretty much the bread and butter of how you're going to play this ship. You know, don't expect massive games out of this ship. Like, every now and then you might get lucky where you're able to get a lot of torp strikes in, and you might have a big game. And that's where a lot of your damage is going to come from with this thing, is the torps. Gun-wise, you're just not going to have huge games. It's just not going to happen. The limiting factor on that, again, is the reload. That's why you can't do a fire starter with this thing. It's just too long of a reload, and it gives people too much of a chance to get DCs back up, and it just really is not effective at fire starting. It'll set fires, but, like, you're not very often going to get perma-fires. More than likely, you're going to be the one that sets up perma-fires and perma-floods for your teammates. There we go, giving my div mate a little love, because he needed it. Give him that little shot in the butt. So we're going to go over here on this Charlie side. Take some pop shots at Nicey right here, because I know I'm about to go behind this island, so I'm going to break spot. Nothing he can do, he's not going to be able to fire back. Somebody's throwing torps at me because I, you know, gave my div mate a little punch. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to set up in a spot where we can be patient, in a spot where I'm protected, and a spot where I have an escape route. And that's, like, key for this ship. So this corner is where I want to be. I'm protected on my right side. I have an escape route if I need to get out of here. If a big push happens, I can get myself out of here. And I also have shots. So what I'm going to want to do now is sit here, be patient, and just peck away. Again, I don't have huge DPM, but what I want to do is annoy people. And I want them to fire at me. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to sit here and we're going to be annoying. And we're just gonna keep popping things in on people. And it's just slow chips taking the damage. Definitely not trying to push in this situation. This is not an ideal situation for me to push in. I don't want to get myself into crossfires. I don't want to get myself into HE spam. I don't want to have to defend myself from multiple angles. When you can force the enemy to deal with you from this angle right here that I'm at, this is when the ship is effective. Because now I can protect myself with the armor. Fire chances really seem to be low with this ship. I don't get a lot of fires set on me. Is it possible? Yes, but it's not probable. Unless it's like an actual fire starter ship. And then you might have a problem with some fires, but most ships don't seem to be able to get fires on me very easy. So again, we're just pecking away, being an annoyance, getting their attention. You know, like, they have shots on me, but you don't see me, like, going behind the cover I have to my right. I want them to shoot at me, because you're not shooting at my teammates, you're not shooting at my DDs, you're not shooting at my light cruisers with no armor. So they're wasting their time with me, which is ideal for my team, and it gives my time and space to work. You know, because these guys are all shooting at me, it's freeing up my team to get shots on them, and you can see the damage we're doing. We're up on ships right now. We're up on points. We should be up on caps, but I think the way this game's going, we're not too worried about caps right now. And so we're just basically setting our team up for success. And that's a lot of what you're going to do in Cheshire. Cheshire is a better support ship than it is, you know, go out and gun everybody down, or go out and, you know, do crazy YOLO torp runs. It's a support ship, much like a lot of the British cruisers. And this thing can be very effective in certain roles. DD hunting is one of those roles. But unfortunately, you can't just go in there when there's, you know, all kinds of crossfires and AT spammers and immediately go chase down the DDs. And you kind of have to weed out some of the other stuff and get the DDs in a situation where they're isolated. And once it's just like you on a DD or you on a couple DDs, that's, you own that. Like, there's not much they can do with you. And we'll get into that in a second. So the last ship on this side we really need to deal with is this Hipper. Again, I'm going to sit here and peck away on him. I'm going to offer him shots, but he gets erased, so never mind. So, the other two ships, the two cruisers that are left, are back over there on the Alpha cap. They're being dealt with by our team and my div mate over on Alpha. So what we have over here now is 3 DDs up in this Charlie cap. So again, this is one of the roles this ship excels in, is DD hunting. Your speed and your sonar, combined with your tankiness, lets you just push a DD. It doesn't matter if they're smoked. Doesn't matter what kind of guns they have. It doesn't matter. This is what this ship is really good at right here, is DD hunting. You know, with the low fire chance. And I guess some ships, you know, like have wooden decks, and there's places where they're very vulnerable to fire. This thing does not seem to be vulnerable to fire, so if a DD wants to sit there and HE spam me, have at it. If it wants to use AP, I can tank it. If you want to throw torps, I have sonar. It's very well equipped to deal with DDs. And you're going to see that right here. And then even when you take torps, you have that high HP pool and the torpedo reduction. You're going to see me take torps here because I make a bonehead play, and it handles it very well. Get some shots in on this Fletcher. Let him know we're here. So all 3 DDs are right here. I started this engagement at 10 clicks. You can see we've already closed down to 7 on the Fletcher, 4 on the Sasasio. Like, we closed that distance very quickly, and they didn't expect that. Like, that Nicey was way far away from us, and we're literally right there with him now. We've got our sonar up. Sashio's gonna get smashed. We know there's a DD out here to our 3 o'clock, so we're gonna be cognizant of that. There's the Fletcher. We're gonna just keep pushing towards this Fletcher, because he's running from us. There's torps from the 3 o'clock DD. And now here's where I kind of make this boneheaded mistake. So we know the Fletcher's gonna be coming out on this right side. There he is. We know his torp reload is done, so he's got torps up. I've got sonar. Now, I should know right now, he's already fired torps off. But I go ahead and make this turn because I'm just tunnel visioned on this other DD. I want to go get him. So we're going to take some torps here. And this is where you see the tankiness. 3 torps. Still have HP. DC'd the flood. Now we're gonna go get this last DD. He's trying to make a run for it, but again, we have speed on our side. There's nothing he can do. And literally all three of these DDs just got hunted down. And there was nothing they could do about it. And, you know, did they make the best plays? No, but when it comes to DDs, they just really, when it's this thing on DDs, it's just, they don't stand a chance. We're gonna go ahead and finish him off. Go to sleep. That is that. So that's the Cheshire. So again, reload works against you. You don't have a lot of DPM. Armor. Speed. Firepower. Concealment. That's what works for Cheshire. That's what you have to take advantage of. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.